Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. And we are just past 8 p.m. on the East Coast, pretty close, almost made it on time. But I was working today. I was actually traveling on a train today. I had to get back here. I was traveling and I went to go see I went to go join a conference, I guess I would say. And so that's why I was out, but I'm back. So that was good. I was there yesterday. I came back today, met a lot of great people. So a lot of cool stuff. Very happy that I went, and I want to, if I could, talk about it a little bit, which is why I wanted to bring up this AMA. Obviously, as I always try to have at least one AMA per week, so that we can just chat about other things, whatever you guys decide. But going to this event, it was a women's health and fertility event. Yes, I went to one. So generally speaking, you see me on Saturdays. I often start an AMA with something cultural. The last couple of shows was men's issues, men leaving, men failing, men having problems. This one's a woman one. See, I'm not the bad guy maybe I'm the bad guy, but I am at least an equal opportunity bad guy. I'm also talking about women here, and a lot of things I had kind of known, but not everything, meaning that there was so much there that I did not understand, and on how culture and society does in many ways put women at a disadvantage, is what I would say, at a disadvantage sometimes when it comes to medical care and how doctors treat them, talk to them, what they have to talk about, which I really didn't get, right? Obviously, I'm not a woman. I don't deal with those issues. Women do. And culturally, this was very surprising to me. There's a woman who I've met before and seen before. Her name is Dr. Sarah Hill. She's been on many podcasts, shows, things like that. Very savvy. And she talks heavily about one important piece. And I'm bringing this up on purpose because this is controversial. I know it is. And that's why I'm bringing it up, because I'd like you to think about this and maybe talk about this, which is birth control and how hormonal birth control affects women and affects their brains, their bodies, how it affects them in general. And the most important piece behind this, which is what blew me away, is I knew that it's hormones. Details I didn't know, but I knew hormones, and of course, it affects your body, affects your brain. I knew that. But the point she brings up, which is one of the most important ones, is the idea that culturally, you can't question the pill. Like you can't say, hey, is this good or not? That is a cultural taboo. And that part is the wrong part, not the pill. I mean, take whatever pill you want. Obviously, I'm libertarian. Use whatever pills you feel appropriate. But the idea that a woman who might be afraid or concerned or have an issue or say, hey, I'm worried about the hormones, maybe it's affecting me in some way, shape, or form, that in many cases, that's taboo. And doctors don't want to talk about it, and women would get mad at you. And I remember this as a man talking about it. I didn't realize it was as a woman. When I would talk about the pills sometimes with my friends, I would get, vitriol from women. Vitriol. When I'd say, I don't know, do you want to use the pill, or would there be another way you might want to deal with it? And it just in a question that I would be talking about with somebody, right? Attacked. Larry, how could the pill has been so good for women? I'm not saying it's not. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't take it. I'm not trying to ban the pill. That's not what I'm doing. I'm asking, is it right for every woman? And this is me when I was asked these questions. It was out of ignorance. It wasn't even out of trying to insult or push an agenda. And I know some people do have an agenda to push. Some people, and I get this, want to push the agenda of getting rid of the pill, saying it's bad because it makes women feminist or whatever. Okay, I get that. That wasn't me. If you know me, you know that's not who I am. If I'm asking that question, it's because I'm worried about someone's health, right? That issue. And boy, is that bigger than I thought it was. I was surprised. I'm going to do a little piece of this if I can. It's a couple seconds. Two things I wanted to bring up. And it is controversial, and it's on purpose. I mean, like, I know it's controversial, right? And I'm doing this on purpose. I want to be clear. I am doing this on purpose. So just so you understand, let me pop this up. This is a chunk from The Good Doctor, and just a couple seconds of what she's talking about.
Welcome to another episode of After School. I'm Dr. Sarah Hill, and today we're going to be talking about the brain on the birth control pill. How much do you know about the birth control pill? Like, really know about the birth control pill? Now, if you're a woman watching, you've probably heard the drill.
Hmm.
You may have an increased risk of stroke or pulmonary embolism if you're on the pill, especially if you're over 35 and smoke.
Now, I knew that already to be true. And I would ask women about that. Sometimes we'd have conversations about this kind of thing. And I knew many women who wanted to come off the pill once they got to a certain age because they were concerned about this. This is a thing that people know about.
Or worse yet, there's the possibility of weight gain, which, despite the fact that most of us wouldn't like to admit this, can seem a lot more terrifying than the possibility of a stroke.
And what I heard from these doctors who were talking about this, they were discussing issues like it can affect thyroid issues, and women who have thyroid problems can sometimes come from the pill. And the question I said is, do we know this? Right? That was one of my questions, right? And the what people were talking about there was the many doctors don't want to even bring it up, and they will actually push back and go, it can't be that. It's not that. It can't be that. I remember talking to a woman recently, last year or so, and she had the one that's in her arm, right? And I asked her, I said, how long have you had it in your arm? She's like, oh no, years, whatever. I said, is that an issue? And she said, no. My doctor told me it's totally fine. And my worry was maybe it is. I'm not saying it isn't. But for a doctor to just go, it's totally fine. And for her to feel it's totally fine, made me think, is it? If you are messing with your cycle for years, is that by default healthy? And as I was talking to them at this event about that, they were all like, yeah, doctors don't want to talk about it because they're afraid. And I thought, culture is screwing women over. You should know what goes in your body. I want to be very clear. I'm not against a birth control pill at all. Whatever control you want to use it. Totally fine. All I'm saying is culture affecting women and making things worse? And this is the part that I was talking about when I saw this.
And for the men watching, you also know a few things about the pill.
A few I did
For
know.
instance, you probably know that the pill prevents pregnancy.
I did know that.
And if your partner is on the pill, that this can spare you from the
I love
cruel
the
and
picture, by the way.
unusual fate of having to wear a condom during sex.
True, could.
But how much do you
Protection
know
still.
about the birth control pill when it comes to the part of our bodies that most of us care about more than any other? What do we know about the birth control pill when it comes to the brain?
Now, I don't have to go any further on this, but you'll get the idea. That was the concept I wanted to bring up. And the thing that people talked about at this event were things like, as an example, it affects your hormones, and many people will put their kids on birth control young, 16, when they think they're being sexually active, 14, 15 sometimes. And then they don't know the brain isn't functioning yet. Effectively yet. Is it affecting that? And doctors don't even want to talk about it. Put them on a pill. Put your kid in a pill versus having the conversations. This goes back to the medical freedom piece I keep bringing up. And the pharmaceuticals companies pushing this stuff, saying, just put your kid on. Don't think twice. Now, this is another woman who brings up a secondary piece. Separate woman, separate piece. She was not at the event, but I found this one and I thought this is also interesting. Another woman saying something similar about the pill in this case. But I'm gonna go to someplace else that's kind of interesting too. But this is the pill piece.
Last year, I found out something was growing inside me. Stage 4 endometriosis. I was shocked, but not for the reason you might think. See, this disease affects 1 in 10 women, and it nearly cost me my kidney. But here's what really floored me. The science that could have helped me and millions like me barely exists.
That's the part that drove me crazy. Because I bring this up because I saw so many doctors say, oh, they won't research it. Well, why not? Because you can't research the pill looking bad no matter what. You just can't. And it affects women. Well, women are on the pill. You should know what it does to you. Right? I mean, like the stick. You should, if you know what it does, if you want it, take it. The transparency drives me crazy. But it goes further into research. There's women that when we do research, it goes further into this. There's no research in this, but there's also no research on women and their hormonal cycles. Because you can't politically, culturally, you can't say that women's hormones change and shift and women's brains change and shift based upon their cycles. Why? Here's the biggest problem that America has when it comes to gender, race, ethnicity, any of those things. We have decided culturally that if something is different, it is by default less than. That's culture. That's not true. Obviously, it's not true. Many of us are different in different ways. Doesn't make us less than. We might be less than in a certain way, like someone might be stronger or weaker. And individuals, sure, we could be. Someone could be smarter or better at a certain thing, more skilled or less skilled. Sure, that's true. But just because something is different doesn't make it less than. And our culture has made that true. So if I go, well, I do this, you don't do that. Oh, so you're less than? No, I just don't do the thing you do. And that I think has happened. And this is her point. If you talk about, well, what about women's hormones? Oh, you're saying we're emotional because of hormones. No, I'm saying you have a different hormonal cycle than men do. And therefore you may have different issues and concerns that we don't know. That's all I'm saying. And where's the science? Oh, we can't do that because we can't get it funded because culture says no. That's a problem.
Instead, I was told what so many women are told. Just go on birth control.
Yes.
Since when did...
My mom was told that? Yes. I've seen that many times. Just go on birth control. That's it. Just go on birth control. Well, what if you don't want it? Or what if it's not good for you? Yeah. But
birth control become this go-to solution for anything that is remotely considered a female problem.
Yes.
Let me put this in perspective. In the last 60 years, researchers conducted 640 studies on menstrual blood, while semen, over 15,000
There we go.
That's a 23-to-1 research gap. Women make up half the population, yet medicine has systematically failed our reproductive health. Why? I needed answers.
And what bothers me is whenever we talk about reproductive health, all they mean is abortion. Okay. There's so much more than that. Like, and I know I sound like I just found this out. I know I did. And some of you are like, duh, Larry, where you been? That's not what I'm saying. My point is this opened my eyes to rethinking about it in a bigger way. When I did some homework, I'm like, oh my God, it's right. Like I heard something, so I'm like, that can't really be true. Like that's, you know me. I often go, that's propaganda. Oh, that's propaganda, right? Oh, that's feminist propaganda or whatever, right? I often think that. Oh, but no, no, this is true. Like this is real. And I'll go another thing if I could. There's issues like, as an example, there are things, and I just want you to see that piece. That's all I want to talk about. But there's other issues like people like crash dummies, all being average men. Well, women drive too, right? So wouldn't you want to have the same thing for like average sized women? Wouldn't that be a thing? Well, no. Actually, no, that would not be a thing. They don't care. Or the idea of testing drugs or certain drugs based upon women in their cycle. No. Women, they want to only test drug when women are not hormonal. What? Yeah. I'm not making this up. This stuff is true. You can do your homework. I wasn't sure it was true, but it is. So all of these things are happening. So now we've put women at disadvantage by default. Why? One of the things was said at this event, which was actually funny. And it was men and women. They said this, men and women have different bodies. And like the room laughed. And I'm like, yeah. Like I've noticed myself, I'm just saying as a male, I have noticed that women and women have different bodies. It's true. But culturally, we can't say that because a movement that was designed to ensure that men and women had total and absolute equal access and service under the law, which is a wonderful and amazing movement, became the idea that men and women are absolutely and totally equal in all ways, which is just utterly not true. We are different in many ways, and that's okay, because it goes to the second piece. I did a video on this before. The idea that you can't say that race doesn't matter in medicine. Of course it does. But Larry, how dare you? You're racist. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. If you are of African descent versus European descent, there are different issues genetically. It doesn't make, again, this goes to our point. Well, if you say that, that means someone's less than. No, you're not less than. You're not. Right? Mosquitoes don't like me because of my African heritage. I'm not making that up. That's true. That makes me better than you. I'm teasing. It's not, just different because you have other things in your world, right? That's how it works, right? People have different. I mean, I'm better than you. I'm kidding. I'm not. Maybe I am. Anyway, my point being, it doesn't matter. We are different. It doesn't mean someone's less than. Gender, sex, ethnic background, race, there's different. Blood type. Our blood types make us different. So it's okay that we are different. We're not less than. And this part drives me crazy. And when I saw the fact that this is going to start hurting women, it began to bother me. And I didn't think of it that way. I was thought of women doing more, spending more time with doctors. Now I see more and more doctors being women. But the women also are trained the same way. It doesn't matter. That's the hard part. Let me grab a couple super chats if I could before we go on. But actually, before we go to super chats, guys, please hit the like button. Hit the button known as Lima India Kill Echo so we can get some good questions going on back and forth. I do want that. Please take care of that if you would. It's a minor thing I ask, but it does matter. All right. Lunatic is in the house tonight. Okay. Lunatic number one, $2. Get off the programming. Get back to holistics. You are very much correct on this. The idea of, and this is a part they brought up many times, which is, okay, so a woman has a problem and the cycle isn't working the way the woman believes it should work in her body. So she goes to a doctor. And the doctor does not say, oh, okay, so how are you eating? How are you sleeping? What's wrong here and there? She doesn't do that. The doctor goes, oh, take the pill to regulate. What? Don't you want to see if I can figure out what's wrong with her? Is there something else she's doing? Is her activity, is her environment, is her food, is something else, stress level, is what she's doing at work, is anything else affecting this woman to make her cycle, not be right? To your point, Lunatic, let's look at it holistically. No, we're not doing that. Take the pill. Which is why so many people are moving away from traditional doctors. And to be forward, I understand that and it makes sense, but for a society, that's a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying people have to go to doctors. They're not. The medical professions are failing. Because again, I'm using the word should. We should trust our doctors. We should trust our pharmaceutical companies, but they've given us some reasons to not trust them. So I get why we don't do it. They don't. Again, this goes back to our idea of not trusting the establishment. I see it everywhere. So yes. Lunatic goes on for $2 and says, healthcare is anti-healthcare. Let me shift that. Healthcare isn't healthcare. Healthcare is sick care, right? It's the break fix model, right? I talk about this all the time. The tech world back in the day, not much anymore, but used to be a break fix model. Okay, if your computer breaks down, I then go and fix it, and I charge you by the hour to fix your computer. So it's in my best interest for you to have broken computers, because the more your computers are broken, the more money I make, right? So my goal, I want to make sure your computers are broken. It's in my best interest. My incentive aligns with you having broken computers. And that's our current healthcare model. They get paid by you being sick. So of course I want you to be sick. I don't get paid if you don't. I don't want you to be healthy. I don't get paid. Now the new model for IT and tech is, generally speaking, there's some exceptions, but generally speaking, the amount of hardware you have, and sometimes software, but usually hardware, you pay a monthly fee to service that hardware, right? Whether that's a server or computers or whatever, printer, whatever you got, right? Your hardware. And then you pay a monthly fee. Well, if I never show up to your office, I make more money. So the best thing that can happen is I keep your stuff running well remotely. That's my goal. My incentive now is to make sure your computers and your printers and your servers are always working and I never have to see you ever. That's my incentive right now. Different incentives. You're correct, Lunatic. Our incentives are broken. Lunatic, $10 says, movie quote, dead presidents. Doc, shut the F up. You don't know. This head is our good luck charm. Oh, I remember that movie. Yes, I remember that movie. Keith David's in that movie too, right? Guy comes back to the Bronx and they rob a bank. Did I get that right? I think that's right. Yeah, morbid facts. Women have zero idea of their own health. PFAs and bras, panties. No, not women. That's incorrect. Most women. Yes. I met so many women who were savvy there. I was like, these women, they got their stuff together. They were all like, oh my God, I got to worry about this, worry about that. They were concerned. And it was a women's event. So, of course, 90% women, maybe more, 95% women. And they brought their kids, babies running around. Yeah. So, yes. But you're right. The PFAs are issues. The plastics are huge. Yeah, 100%. All true. He goes, oh, wow. Okay, you have to say, I love it. Okay. He goes, Larry, the pill, most detrimental to women's thyroid and reproductive system. The amount of times I heard thyroid and hormones and the pill in those 5 hours, I was like, damn. And PCOS. Heard that like, I don't know, a dozen times more. I couldn't believe it. I was like, yes. So I'm with you. Yes. He says, eugenics in full effect, programming done by Margaret Sanger. Yes. For those of you who don't know, Margaret Sanger was a proponent of eugenics. It's true. And she helped start, is it Planned Parenthood? Is that right? I think that's correct. So yeah, you're correct. Lunatic is correct yet again. Lunatic again. It's all programming. Freedom. Nope. All detriment. Look, I'm not against people at all talking and taking a pill for whatever they feel is appropriate. At all. I'm not against the pill. I know people, don't like it. Great. Don't take it. My issue is transparency and doctors giving women the ability to have actual informed consent, right? If you as a woman think the pill is the best answer for you, please take it. But the idea, do you think that it's perfect, it's magic, because to be forward, and I know women get this, and many feminists will get mad about this, but I'm going to acknowledge it. The pill has been insanely good for women to grow and to, have their own rights, to have their own ability to have money, to have their own ability to move forward in all types of social issues, all types of professional issues, arenas, 100%. It's been very valuable. I get it. I'm not mad at you for it. All I'm saying is informed consent. That's what I mean. I'm with you. We have programmed to say, you better do it. And in fact, many women have been like, you're not in the pill? Oh, that means you hate women. What? You hate feminism. What? No, I just don't want to be in the pill. Oh, no. You can't talk about it. Yes. All righty. Ale King says, oh, thank you. Larry, thank you for $5. Larry, I mentioned your stance on immigration to a friend. I didn't see the issue specifically on your site. Can I find it somewhere to be accurate? Yes. Yes. Is it not? Immigration may not be actually on my website, because my website was for my governor run, and immigration doesn't really deal with that, but it might be on, hold on, you probably find it on my YouTube page. Hold on. Yes, you can. Let me see if I can find it. There's probably, I'm pretty sure I did a Sharpe Solutions on immigration. Let me see if I can find it real fast. Hold on. I assume that I did a Sharpe Solution because that seems to make sense that I would do one, but I'm actually not sure. Let me see if I can find it. Alrighty, can I see it here? Yes. Okay, I did a Sharpe Solutions on how can we fix the border. It was 10 months ago. Yeah, it's Sharpe number 452. There we go. Sharpe number 452 is all about the border. So that should be one that could help you out. That's the number, Sharpe 452, about 10 months ago. There we go. All right. Thank you for that. All right, let me head back if I could. Grab some more comments so we can answer some questions. I appreciate all of these. Okay. Phil says, women seem to use more healthcare of all kinds. Men will sometimes show up when there's a check engine light. True. I think women are more, because I think women care more about that holistic piece, like Lunatic was talking about. They care more about that, and they want to do. Myself, I'm like, if I have a problem, I assume it will go away. This is how I think. It'll go away. If it doesn't, then maybe I'll go. Otherwise, it'll go away. Mass Manawa says, medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America, and Afudu is the other two. True. And they're connected. Absolutely accurate. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. That piece does matter. Mass Manawa says, I did an episode on it for Tin Rabbit Podcast. I don't know what the Tin Rabbit Podcast is. Is that on YouTube or is that someplace else? Let me see if I can find it. Tin Rabbit. I don't mean to be a nerd. I just don't know what it is. It might be amazing. And it might not be. It might be garbage. I don't know. I'm not saying anything. Mastermind, I don't know. Oh, I see it here. Tin Rabbit. Okay, yeah, Tin Rabbit. Okay. Tin Rabbit Podcast. It's on YouTube. Which one is it? You got to tell me, dude. You can't just do that. That's not fair. Yeah, you got to tell me. It's not fair. That was being mean, Mastermind. You got to tell me which one. So, all right, let me keep going down here if I can. That Liberty lady says, who's been Jones and Valerie Sharpe? Ooh, I appreciate that tremendously. Thank you. Mike Voss in the house. I don't know about women's healthcare, but government intrusion and micromanagement of lives is always worst case scenario. True. So maybe it is anti-woman or anti-human, just enough for drones to keep working. My worry, Mike, is that if you look at healthcare for women in general, we need things like research and things like that, right? Drugs. And again, you look at it, how many new drugs come out to help men get excited? How about I say that way? Lots of them. A lot of money in that, right? Aren't that many for women on that one. But yeah, agreed. Adirondack says healthcare is anti-healthy. Yes, that was my entire point. Correct. And that's a problem, right? We want to make it the opposite. We want it to be a system to where it is in the best interest of the healthcare industry for us all to be healthy. That is not how it works. And what we keep worrying about is we need more insurance. We need more coverage. And while that seems nice, that doesn't fix the problem. So now I have more coverage for when you're more sick. That's not a good answer. A lot of people don't like what Bobby Kennedy Jr. is doing. They're wrong. It's a good idea. Not because his specifics may be wrong. We'll find out if they are or not. But the idea that he's trying to break it up and change how we think about it, that is absolutely correct. That's absolutely the right answer. We are in the right direction. Whether his specific ideas or not are true, we'll find that out. But he's in the right direction completely. Yes. All righty. Cage says, hey, gonna listen while I ride. This should be fun. I won't text and ride, though. Please don't. I would like you to not fall down. So, yes, just listen. So, Kaiwan Calendar says, think the Zohan, it's actually Zoran, but that's okay. The Zoran Mamdani, not Modani, Mamdani would really change New York for the worst. I can't handle somebody worse than him. Eric Adams is even worse. Then Madonna is a big money in the set court, league court. I think you would just, I'm not sure what you mean. Anyway, let me keep going on this one. Mamdani, look, now that Mamdani has won the primary, you are seeing already the establishment just go nuts. They don't like this at all. And I did tell you last week when it happened, I said, watch for a Buffalo, New York happening again. For those who I told you in Buffalo, New York, I told you that in Buffalo, that woman, India, I'm getting her name right, I hope, Walton, I think that's correct, not Watson. I think I screwed it up last time. Walton, India Walton, she won the primary. She is far left. And the establishment said, no, that's not going to happen. And the Republicans, Democrats got together and did a write-in campaign and beat her. I can see something like that happening in this case. Eric Adams might be the guy to get behind. It's possible. I think in the next month we'll know. Sadly, the donors will decide. I know somebody like, that's not fair. True and accurate. The donors will decide. The donors will say, okay, we're behind whatever, Cuomo running independent, or we're behind Adams, or we'll find some new guy who will pop it and we'll throw a bunch of money at him. Maybe that. That's what I think is going to happen. So I'm not sure he's actually going to win. I'm not. Kate, thank you for the $5. In Finland, government gives baby boxes when every baby's born. That turn into portable bassinets and are packed with essentials. Would you support this? Generally speaking, giving stuff for people to get children doesn't work. You're just giving away stuff for people who are already planning to have babies. The Japanese been trying these for decades, been failing. The Koreans been trying for a long time, failing. It is not working at all. So do you want to give baby boxes away? Nice. But so far, I have not seen evidence of that. So I should be clear. Sorry, Kate. My assumption was your goal was to get people to have more babies. That was my assumption. If that's true, if your goal is to have more babies, giving anything away does not work. The Chinese are trying it now. It's not working. Like governments have been trying this literally for years. It hasn't worked. What happens is culture decides whether people want to have more babies. Number one. Number two is women pair bonding with men who they want to have children with. Those two things, culture and that, and they overlap. Those completely overlap, and decide whether or not we're going to have more children. So you can give it away. It's nice, but it doesn't make it happen. If you're asking, if you're doing this, saying, well, I don't care about people having more babies, I want healthier babies. If that's what you want, that's also cultural. So in other words, giving away a portable bassinet packed with essentials, nice, but why would government have to do it? Why wouldn't in theory, your healthcare provider do it? Right? Now, if your healthcare is run by government, then that would still be government. But why wouldn't healthcare provider do it? Right? In theory, if my healthcare provider is incentivized for you and your baby to be healthy, your healthcare provider should do that. Well, Larry, they don't do that. They do. And let me give you an example of that. Right now, insurance companies will lower your insurance premiums if you give for things like gym memberships to your employers, to your employees. So they already do that kind of thing. They give things away to keep the people healthier so that they don't do it. So you'd have to have a system like that. So you could do it. I hope that makes sense at least. Kate says, I'll thank you for $2. The goals of healthy babies. Yeah. Having healthy babies, and this is another piece that was brought up in this piece, is that we often think of the baby and the mom as separate, which I get why we do that. But the reality of it is healthy babies, before they're born and after they're born, heavily depend upon a healthy mom, right? Heavily. Not 100%, but like 99%. A healthy mom is a critical part of a healthy baby when the baby's still inside the womb and afterwards. So giving that is nice, but I'd rather make sure that the mom has the appropriate care. If I'm going to care about that baby, which I should, the most important piece isn't giving the portable bassinet or essentials. That's nice, but if the mom's not healthy, the baby's not going to be healthy. And that means mentally, physically, raising the baby, whatever. While I get you care about the baby, I do too. The focus should be on the mom, in my view. You ask my opinion. My opinion is focus on the mom. If the mom is mentally and physically healthy, the odds of that baby being healthy are so much higher, right? Because even after the baby's born, the mom almost always is the one who takes care of it. And we see data shows, particularly when the baby's young, that is a critical piece. A critical piece. Yes. Phil says, my great-grandmother got a medal for 9 babies. Oh, my God. She got a medal. But I got to tell you, Phil, I don't know this, but I would assume she didn't do it for the medal. Your great-grandma thought that was the right thing to do, or wanted those many babies, or culture pushed her into that, or whatever. I don't think the medal is the reason why she did the 9. She wasn't like, I need to get 9 babies. I want that medal bad. I don't think she did that. I think she either thought that's what she should do, or she wanted to, or some combination, right? Of those 2 factors would be my assumption. I wouldn't think that. So, yeah. I hope I answered both your questions. That's where my head is. Straight N over on Rumble. Thank you for $2. I enjoyed your last show very much. I'm glad I can make the live tonight. RFK Jr. succeeding while not being front and center is impressive. Agreed. And I'm talking about health again, right? Again, I'm talking about it. And by the way, the people who did the event that I'm talking about are a group called Maha Initiative. Their link is in the description. If you want to click on what they're doing, they did the event. Maha Initiative did a great event. Very happy for that event they did. If you want to check it out, click Maha Initiative. It's right there in the show description. Click it, check them out, what they're doing. I'd appreciate that. So yes. So thank you for those pieces. Since I'm talking about that kind of stuff, let me grab a couple more things that are important coming up here, guys. This is important. If you guys want to see me, right, I go to events all the time. Next week, I am doing events in New York. Yes, I'm heading up. I don't have exact spots yet. I will coming up this week, but so you know where I'm going to be. Next week, Thursday, 7 p.m., I will be in Syracuse, New York. So if you can be in that area, next Thursday, 7 p.m., clear your calendar because I will be there. I'll let you know exactly where coming up here. Friday, 11 a.m., I'll be in Schenectady. 4 p.m., I'll be in Putnam. So I will be in those areas. I don't know exactly where yet. I will get this soon. But if you care, you want to come see me, come see me. I will be there. I'll be there live. Again, Thursday, 7 p.m. in Syracuse. Friday, 11 a.m. in Schenectady. And Friday, 4 p.m. in Putnam County. So I'll be doing 3 county stops. Why? Because I'm doing a radio show. I'm actually covering the illustrious Bob Lonsberry in Syracuse from 3 to 6 on Thursday. I then do an event. After that, I'm live in studio. I then go move from there to Schenectady and Putnam the next day on my way back so I can do a show here. So yes, I will see you. If you guys can make it, those 3 days would be great. So please do that if you can. But not just that. My Tuesday radio show on WYSL has been moved. Yes, it has. All of you who love seeing me on Tuesdays, it is now moved to Mondays at 1 p.m. starting next week. Remember this week I didn't have a show? This was a transition week. So next week, Monday is my show now at 1 p.m. So if you want to hear my radio show and call in and yap at me, you can. Mondays at 1 p.m. starting next week. So it used to be Tuesdays. It has now changed. It is now Mondays at 2 p.m. So yes, I know I did a bunch of stuff, but there was some admin I want to cover, and that's why I covered that admin. All righty. Lunatic is back. $20. Thank you, my friend. Programming. Westerners think C-section equals birth. Incorrect. Birth means vaginal delivery only. Surgical remove doesn't sound good in ads. Ooh. Again, programming. All of facade includes food, pyramid, vaccines, form of detriment. You are touching a lot. It's almost like you know this stuff already. Maybe you do, Lunatic. There was a stat that totally threw me. In 1970, I may be off the year, but I think 1970, 3% of pregnancies were cesarean. 3. Now it's 35, almost about a third. Yes. Yes. Massive change. Massive change in how we check the baby, what we do. We have spent more and more time trying to support the mom medically with viewing and checking and all the things. And the sad part is this all started when the government started getting involved. Surprise! In 1977. That's when the government started to come up with guidelines and rules and all those things. And what started happening? Mortality rates up, cesareans more, injuries more, bleeding more problems. We started ignoring midwives, ignoring all those things. Everything got worse. Lunatic, you are correct. That is absolutely true. You can see the data. The data supports. Is that what you're saying? Yes. We should be having much more natural birth than anyplace else. One of the people said literally, mammals for millennia, when they're having babies, just go into a quiet place and have a baby. Like that's been a thing for mammals for millennia. All of a sudden now it's oh my God, the world's ending. Oh my God, you're all going to die. Oh my God, everything's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And you've seen a difference in how it works. Interesting concepts. I get what you're saying completely. I like the back and forth. I love that. So thank you for that. All righty, let me keep going down. Adirondack says birth control pills may be responsible for many problems. This is a problem this is what I'm talking about. There's a lot of things that we aren't even talking about. So where is the data? This is my point. They're not doing the data. You say may because we don't know. They won't do the research on it because it's culturally verboten. You can't do it culturally. And you need to do the homework. Look, if you're going to take a pill, in this case, almost every day for years, you should know the side effects. You should have informed consent. You should know what you're doing and make that choice based upon what you think is correct. If you think it's worth it, take the pill. But if you don't know and everyone's telling you have to take it, and then there's pressure because, if you don't, you hate women, which is literally a thing. Yeah. So my VA lady says, since Larry's traveling, does that mean no evening show on July 4th and 5th? Probably no evening show on July 3rd and 4th, but there will be a show July 5th. So July 3rd and 4th, probably no show. No show the 3rd for sure, probably no show on the 4th because I'll be doing 3 events plus the radio show. I'll be exhausted. So, but I'll probably do a show July 5th. So no 3rd and 4th, probably July 5th. So yeah, there we go. Hope that answers your question. Appreciate that piece. All righty. Let's see here. Straight End says Queen Kathy could be the first governor to team up with RFK Jr. on the no. Remember something. RFK Jr. to Democrats, he's a traitor. He will never be brought back to the Democratic Party. Never. He's a traitor. Never. Absolutely. All righty. Andrea says it. Informed consent. Correct. Yes. Informed consent. I couldn't. That's exactly the right answer. Do as you see fit with all the information. Patty says, research shows a bias against women in the healthcare system from diagnosis to treatment. True. That's accurate. And boy, I wasn't sure it was that bad. When I first heard it, I was like, is this real? Is this people just exaggerating because they have an agenda? Which is where I always assume it goes, Patty. Or that was my assumption. Then I did a bit of homework. I'm like, oh no, this is real. This is a real thing. So yes. Mike says, if it's like for men, I've had docs try to give me pills for years. Not for need, but just in case. I trust few docs. Brother, I am exactly with you. Those of you who've listened to me know I go to doctors only when I run for office. I go to a doctor every 4 years. Why? So I have my medical records in case they ask for it. That's the reason. Otherwise, I don't go to doctors. I don't trust them either. It sounds terrible. I know it does. It sounds horrible. I know it sounds terrible, but I get it. I get it. I do. So Patty says, for decades, insurance companies discriminated against women. They charge women more or deny coverage altogether. They didn't cover women's health services. All right. There were some data points there, Patty. You're so correct. There's data that backs this. I should have put it up. I didn't realize it's live, guys. I don't know what you guys are going to ask me, so I don't always have the data prepared. But you can do your homework if you want to. Literally, this is a real thing. When men apply to insurance companies for problems to get paid, men get paid in a higher percentage than women, almost twice the amount. You are correct, Patty. There's data. You can do your homework. That data actually exists. So I'm making the data up. I don't know the exact numbers, but say, a man gets reimbursed 66%, a woman 33%. Like, that's a real thing. That's you are correct. There is actual data that shows this to be true. You are correct. And I didn't know that till like a couple of days ago. And when I heard it, it didn't sound right. Right? To me, I was like, is that real? I'm just being forward. The reason I'm talking about this now is because the stuff I heard didn't sound real. It sounded like it was people with an agenda. This reminded me very much, and this is going to sting for some people, but it's the same thing. This is a women's rights issue. It reminded me of the men's rights issues. I didn't want to accept that we as a society or culture would punish people based upon gender so much. Shame on me for not wanting to accept that, but it's absolutely true. And when the men came to me in 2018 talking about how biased the system was against them when it came to family court, at first I didn't believe them. I told the story to many of you. If you know the story, it's true, and I say it just to be transparent. I was like, this guy's probably a bad guy. He's probably not true. And then I heard it again, and I heard it again, and I had my team look into it, and they were like, Larry, it's all true. This is real. It's like, holy shit, it's real. I had to come up with policies for it because it was that real. Patty, what you're saying, I didn't want to hear this. I didn't want this to be true. I didn't want this to be true. And when I first heard it, I'm like, come on, it can't be that bad. Do my homework. Shit, it's that bad. Like, it's that bad. And to think about new policies now. I'm literally thinking about new policies now. How do I put this into policy to make this better? You're right. Obviously, you knew this already, right? I didn't. And also, not only did I not know it, I didn't want it to be true. So I was hoping that, well, no, it's just something else, right? No, Patty, you're correct. You are correct. So Ryan said, thank you for $5, my friend. Larry, should I call my wannabe liberty-based podcast the Middle America Report? Everything liberty-based that's happening in the Midwest. The issue with the Middle America Report is it sounds conservative. Now, if this leans conservative, that's okay. Don't do it. But if it doesn't lean conservative, the marketing of that sounds conservative, right? So if you're okay with that, no worries, but it does sound conservative. I don't know if I'd say that. I might remove the middle part, or I might change how I might say like the middle class America Report. That could be something. The working class America Report. That could be something. Just the America Report would work. All those things, right? That could work. I think any of those could work. And I'm not sure you want everything liberty based that's happening in the Midwest. You might just want to have it everything that matters in the Midwest. The generally speaking, liberty shows don't do well. I don't mean to be cruel, but they often don't. Liberty shows tend not to do well. There are some exceptions, but most don't. people think they're free already. They're not, Ryan, but they think they are. So you probably want to have a different spin, if that makes any sense, and just talk liberty. This show isn't the libertarian, the Sharpe way, right? I'm not. This is a show about politics and culture with a libertarian host. This isn't a libertarian show. It's not a liberty show. Have you noticed? It's neither of those things. It's a show about politics and culture with a libertarian in it. The show is actually about something else. Respect. There it is. The way to mutual respect. It's actually about respect. So if you see, I try to respect everyone. I respect my trolls. You've seen me do that. It's really what it's about. So, yes. Speaking of that, what the show was about, something special, 2 special things. Number 1, next Wednesday is going to be a special show. And that show is going to be on civil. You see, says civil, C-I-V-L. Next Wednesday is a civil show only. Next Wednesday, 7 p.m. on civil. If you want to see the show, you got to be a member. Go click on that and become a member if you want to see that show on Wednesday. Civil, as you can see, is one of our sponsors. You guys have been bugging me for sponsors, so now I got one. If you want to go ahead and check them out, head over to civil.com and put in the code Larry, all caps, L-A-R-R-Y, upper right-hand point. When you click it in, do that. It is $25 for 1 full year of Civil. Civil has amazing things on it, so many cool things. And here is our first beat. Come on, that was cool. That was so cool. You should just go join. Civil, C-I-V-L. C-I-V-L, no I. I is for chumps, right? 1 eye is good. 2 is no good. You got 1 eye, that's all you need. CIVL.com, code Larry, $25 a year. You get that in there. When you do that, you get to see the Wednesday show. It's 7 p.m. You might go, but Larry, I don't know if I want to just see that Wednesday show. Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can if you want, but you don't have to. You know what else you could do? You could instead watch the members only show, the members panel show, which is Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Larry, how do I get to be on a members panel show? You get to be a member. That's all. How do you do that? So easy because I love you. You just head over to YouTube and click join. Done. You click join, $49 per month. Do that. You become a member, and then you look at the membership tab on the YouTube page, and that membership tab gives you all the membership posts. There's a membership post right there that says, do you want to be on? Let me know. I'm going to grab 3 people. 3 people will be on that show. You will be physically here. Anyone can watch it, right? Anyone can watch it. The civil show on Wednesdays is behind the civil paywall. The membership show is anyone you want. Anyone can watch. Anyone can watch, but you got to be a member to watch. To be on, I'm sorry, to be on. You got to be a member to be on. So become a member if you want to. Do that. Become a member. You get a shot at being on. I'm going to pick 3 people. Now, a lot of you want to come on again. And I might pick the same people again if other newbies don't come on. I want to try to get some newbies if I can. Otherwise, I'll go back and grab some other people. I will. But I'd like to get some newbies if I can. Please do it if you want. I do. It does matter. But more important, you might say, Larry, both of those things require me to pay you money. True. That's true. And I want you to pay me money. Lots of it, please. I love that. This way I don't have to work anymore because I work all the damn time. So that'd be great. But you don't have to. A way you can support the show without having to pay me a dime is to click the like button. Yes. But one more thing is to share and repost this all over the place. Share and repost this all over the place. That's free. Costs you nothing. And you still support the show. So support the show by either sharing this or repost it. In fact, if you don't share or repost this, you hate women. It's true. You probably hate men too. You hate people. Stop hating people and share this and repost this. In fact, some of you probably like that. That's probably a mistake. Some of you are like, yeah, I do hate people. Okay, that probably didn't work well. And I don't care. Share this and repost it anyway. It doesn't matter. Or you hate whoever you don't hate. Or click the like button. It does matter. If you want to support the show financially, many ways you can do it. One of them is, of course, become a member either on Rumble or on YouTube, either one. Click the join button or subscribe button during the live, or heading over to civil.com. Check out all the cool. Look, Civil is run by libertarians. It is. It's true. It is. And they have tons of cool things, and they worry about happiness. They worry about making things better lives for you. It's going to be a cultural show that I'll do on Civil only, Wednesday show. If you want to check it out, head over to civil, CIVL.com. Code Larry, all caps, Larry. Coolest name out there. $25 per year. $50 off. Usually it's 50 bucks. I'm sorry, it's 50%. Use 50 bucks for a year. It's only 25 bucks a year with that code. So easy day. Please make that happen if you can. I appreciate it. All right, let me grab some more of these if I can. All righty. So many of these. Mezzo Megan says they feed young women birth control, then charge them hundreds of thousands to fix the fertility issues caused by birth control. True. That's accurate. So there are problems that people have and they don't even know what they are. I go back to the same thing. They don't know what they are. Look, if you decide that your cycle is so trashed and you decide that it's worthy of going on the pill to fix your cycle, go ahead. Your body. Do what you see fit. But most women, to your point, don't know the damage that could happen. They don't know. And then making decisions without knowing what the outcome could be, right? That's the issue. So Swinbot says, I had a baby at 19. When my daughter was academically gifted, young person, entered high school. I did ask her if she felt the need to take the pill. I did take her to the doctor and helped her with it. Oh, nice. Nothing wrong with that. I love that. Yes. Goes on to say, I just wanted her to wait until after college to get knocked up. I get it. Lots of people do. Lots of people do. I hope that it was good for her. I hope it didn't mess her up. I have no idea, but I hope it didn't. I hope it was the right move. Again, no issues. Hope it was the right move. Andrea says, here, take this magical pill, but it could cause you side effects. Maybe it's not so magical then, Andrea, if it causes these side effects. So yeah. Mother Nature's Little Secret says, many birth control started too young interferes with full breast development. Here's the problem we're having as Kennedy brings this up. American girls are going into puberty a whole lot earlier than they ever have before. A lot of girls are going into puberty, I'm not making this up, at 10 years old. That was not common. That's now common. That wasn't the thing. Used to be girls would go into puberty 13 in that area. Now it's around 11 or 10. It's very early. Well, you might go, does it really matter? Yes, it changes how they think, how they act. But not just that, they could be sexually active earlier and they might go on a pill earlier. All problems, right? So yeah, it's absolutely true. Yes. Mother goes on to say, doctors push birth control on young girls against parents' wishes, saying it will help keep acne in control, keep her cycle regular. Yeah. Look, are the doctors trying to be mean? I don't think so. Are they trying to do what they've been told? Yes. Some of them aren't paying attention. They're just doing what they're told. This is what, to Mike's point, do you trust them? Yeah. Mike goes on to say, culture just wants people to be addicted to tons of meds. Yes. Yeah. Because there's a pill for that. There's a pill for this. There's a pill for that. There's a pill for this. Yes. Absolutely. It's a big problem. Patty says, hold on. Okay. Perimenopause and menopause are now being discussed openly. As they should be. Patty, I'm with you. As they should be. That was almost like you're right. It's almost like shameful. I remember when I was a kid, like, people didn't want to talk about it. Women didn't want to mention it, talk about it. Now, who cares? It's a part of life. Women go through it. So, yes, it's fine, right? All it doesn't matter. I'm totally with you. It's just women's health. It's how it works. All women will go through it at one point. Some earlier, some later, some slower, some faster, whatever. It's how it works. It's all good. I completely agree. We should be doing that. It's exactly the right answer. I'm glad that we're moving to that level. Again, does that mean you should take some women want to go on hormones therapy when they get older? Again, not against it. My question I would have again would be, do you have informed consent? Do you know what it's doing to your body and your brain? And if you're like, I'm okay, I would like to take the hormone therapy and I know what it's all about. Okay. You don't want to? Don't take it. I know it sounds so silly, but there is a culture of compliance. This is kind of what Mike was saying. There's a culture of compliance and a culture of you're anti-woman if you don't do the thing that the establishment tells you to do. If you do what the establishment tells you to do, you are by default pro-woman, so do it. Does your health? I don't care about your health. I care about virtue signaling, and that's what that matters. Does your health suffer? Too bad, Patty. Too bad. Let your health suffer. You have to do what we say. And that is what drives me crazy. And then they attack you if you don't do what they say to do. It's insane, right? That part. All right, I'm going to keep moving before I get off. triggered. Mike gets mad at me if I get triggered. Anyway, all right. Sharpe fan over on Rumble says there were studies years ago in Puerto Rico, I think, she says, Sharpe fan says, about early onset puberty for girls. Trace the hormones given to chickens to increase chicken breast size. Oh, interesting. Maybe. I could see that people are talking about so many hormones in our food that may be affecting our kids. So, yeah. Over on Instagram, James says, excellent observation. Both America Show and Middle Class America Show definitely sound less politically skewed to me. There we go. So someone on the outside agrees with me on that one. So I hope that's helpful, Ryan. Someone out also, James over on Instagram agrees. So maybe that's a better, unless you want it to be that way, then it's totally fine, right? Totally fine if you want it that way, totally fine. So, all righty. Mike says different equals less than for gender/intersection activists. Victimhood makes money. I'm not even gonna say makes money. I would say culturally reverses the less than, right? So a lot of times people don't make any money when they say that. Sometimes, but often they don't. They often just get cultural street cred because I'm the victim, so it's not my fault, right, Mike? See, I didn't do that bad thing. It's because you made me less than. That's why I did the thing, which now the thing is your fault, and I'm the victim because you made me less than. And there's no money involved, but it does takes away my blame, takes away my accountability, because clearly it's your fault, Mike, because you made me less than. So I think there's a little bit of a difference. That makes sense. So I'm hoping I'm clear with that one. All right. Kintsugi, how are you? I don't trust docs because they don't listen. True. You have to really advocate for yourself, and some people don't have the knowledge to do that. There's literally books written on this. There's a book called How to Talk to Your Doctor. Yes, there's books on this. That's how bad this is, Kintsugi, right? There are books on this because you're exactly correct. The issue here I want to add, if I could, I'm going to add this piece. When you're wealthy, that's not true. And if anyone here is wealthy, you go to private doctors, and you know that private doctors listen. Why? Because you pay them, right? When you go to private doctors, you are the customer. You swipe your credit card or you give them a check. So they'll spend 20 minutes talking to you because you paid them, right? I know I live in New York City. It's how it works, right? So you swipe your credit card, you show up, and they'll talk for 15, 20 minutes and they'll see what you're saying back and forth. They don't offer you a prescription or a test, right? Or something like that, or procedure, because they got paid already. You're not wealthy. You're stuck on some insurance. Worse, you're stuck on Medicaid, Medicare. You get maybe 7 minutes. I'm not even joking. They can't listen to you. They can't listen to you. They don't have time. They get paid. Yeah, you're correct. You are correct. Yes. So, all right. Let me keep going. All right. Missy says, use the join button to become a member. Yes, she's right. You get a priority comment, special panel shows, special opportunities, great community, and more. $49 per month supports the show. Please do so. She is correct. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. She's right. Yes. All righty. Let me keep doing that. All right. So many of you guys going back and forth. I appreciate all of those. Liberty says, I've seen the past couple of days that Lee Stefanik may be running for New York mayor. Thoughts, Larry? Are you ready for a GOP start saying New York is going red? I think you mean governor. There are rumors that I know of. Lee Stefanik has not actually announced that I know of, unless something happened recently. Like I haven't paid attention a couple of days. Maybe she has, but she's not announced. I don't think she will announce if she's going to run until December or January. Why? Republicans have a cycle right now, and the cycle is that some people are getting elected here in November. Generally speaking, they don't want to announce right now until after the election, which is in November. Why? Because if Lee Stefanik announces now, she may suck some of the air out of the room. She may take some money out of the room where other people who right now may get it. She may take some of the press out of the room where she'll be going to people who right now are running. So the odds of her announcing before December are slim. Probably she's going to wait till after the election, and then if she's running, she'll announce it in December or January. So yeah, and of course they're going to say, "Oh, this is the year," Republicans always say this is the year. It's not the year. Zoran Mamdani just won the Democratic primary in New York City. It's not the year. It's not. That's not a thing. But they're going to say it because they want to raise money. They're going to say it. It's not the thing. It's not the year. It isn't. But yeah, they'll say it. True. All right. Phil over on Rumble says, thank you for the Rumble rant. Do you think that bodybuilders and biohackers will gain more trust in society than doctors? They already have. That's already happening. Yes. You go on YouTube, they're all bodybuilders. They're all like doctors who are all buff, and they're bodybuilders and they're biohackers. Yeah, guys like Dave Asprey, those types of guys. So I found one doctor who's like all big buff with a big bald head. That guy's real popular. Oh, yeah. Dr. Berg, who's like a Olympian, right? Who's a doctor. Yes, it's already happening. That's already happening. Yes. He goes on to say, these seem to be people who are doing applied medicine through trial and error, more than that, late 1800s. Yeah, they actually have data. They're not doing what the government says. They're doing what they actually find, right? Yes. They're healthcare. They're actually healthcare providers. True. That's an accurate statement. It's already happening. Within the next 10, 20 years, it'll be the norm. Yeah. It'll be the norm. Absolutely. So, all righty. Let's see if I can grab this. If I keep going, so many of these. Liberty says, YouTube in general has been crazy lately. Extra commercial with different podcasts and other weird stuff, like our handle showing. Yes, YouTube has been doing that because YouTube is something which drives me crazy. They demonetize you and then still put commercials in. So you're demonetized, but they run commercials. So basically just stealing your stuff. Yeah. I've been demonetized more than once. And when I get demonetized, they still run commercials. I try to make the commercials as low as possible. I think like 18 minutes or something. That's what I do. 18 minutes is like one of the lowest ones. So it's not often, right? I try something like that. But they still decide, well, you put that. We're going to do what we want. Yes. Yeah. Kinsumi says, that's why men get taken more seriously when they go to the doctor, because they don't until it's bad. Yes, and men also very, very often will advocate for themselves better, right? To Mike's point, Mike said they try to put him on pills. He says no. To put me on pills, I said no. Women are more apt to say yes. They're generally speaking more agreeable than men are when it comes to authority figures. That's not 100% rule, but overall, you will see more women acquiesce to authority figures than men. Men are going, no, I'm not doing it. And Mike just said it. Mike's like, I'm not doing it. I did the same thing. I have no prescriptions. I've been offered prescriptions every time I go to a doctor. Every time I go to a doctor, they offer me something. I'm like, no, I'm good. No thanks. No thanks. That's it. There we go. Andrea says, if I have an ache or pain, I ask the chiropractor first. Then if he's concerned, I'll see a doctor. A lot of times he has a solution that works. That's brilliant. I like that. Andrea, it's very good. I like that. That's very good. Yeah, that's I like that one. There we go. All right. Okay. Mother's Inch back on. Larry, I hit the brick wall name Mike Voss today about RCV. I'm on your side. I need protection. Yeah. Mike is not a fan of ranked choice voting. He's not. I mean, he's wrong. I love him, but he's wrong. Ranked choice voting is awesome. I've explained why a million times. It's great. And there's a lot of propaganda against it. It's all wrong. Ranked choice voting is awesome. It's awesome for one important reason. It proves it constantly. Two reasons, but the most important one, it breaks the establishment. By default, awesome. By default, awesome. It does. It just does. All righty. Let's see if I can go here. Lunatic says, biohackers cherry pick data also equals scam. Not always, brother. No. That is a broad brush you paint. That's a broad brush you paint. That's unfair. It's too broad of a brush. Are some all about scamming and selling product? Yes. True. Some are that way. Not all. Some actually do what Phil says. Some actually take the time to do the actual work to test things and show you how stuff does work. But there's right. Of course, there's scammers, right? There's tons of people on the internet who are like, I'm a biohacker. I tried this thing and it works like magic. So buy my version of it for $1 gazillion. True. That's accurate. Yes. But that's not everybody. That your brush is far too broad, my friend. Far too broad. Phil, thank you for gifting a Sharpe membership. Thank you. Membership does matter. It gets you on the show. Yes. You can sit here with me and talk trash. Absolutely. If you want to. So yes, thank you guys. Remember our rule. If you make $20 million a year, you may not take this awesome gifted membership. If you make less than $20 million, you may. So if you made $20 million, pay the $49. If you made that, it's fine. Members, it gets you. If you're a member, you have a chance of getting on the actual show, but something else. Members can also send me stuff to check out. Like I would do a lot of, I do reviews of what members send to me. I'll try to grab as many as I can, do a review, and members do that. So members get members get priority when it comes to comments. They also get to be on the panel show, and they get to send me stuff to review. That's not a bad deal. $49, that's not a bad deal, guys. Not bad. And here's the best part: you're supporting me being on, right? That's important, right? Not because I'm smart, but because I'm good looking. That's the reason why. Not too shabby. So do that, and you can support. That's awesome. I appreciate that. But if you want more, you can do more if you want to. What can you do? You can click the button known as like. Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. That's more. You can share this someplace, repost this or share this if you want to. If you want to support my sponsor, you guys are bugging me. You're saying, Larry, get a sponsor. Okay, I got a sponsor now. I got one. The Wednesday show is going to be on Civil only. You want to watch that show? You can. You can watch it live. Jump on board. There's actually a special place for us, which I'm going to cover next week, where we can all chat with each other within Civil. Not too shabby. And you get all kind of other cool stuff too. And if you go to civil.com, civl.com, civl.com, sign up, put in the code, upper right-hand side, it's green box, click that, put in Larry, all caps, $25 for a year. How you going to be $25 for a year? That's cheaper than me. Come on now. That's cheap. And you get more stuff. You don't get handsome me as much. But there's some good-looking people on Civil. You get some good-looking people. You do. There's some good-looking people. There are. Not as many. But still, there's some. Not too shabby. That's all I'm saying. Ryan says, Larry, thank you in the chat for your honest feedback on the name and what kind of podcast to have. Yeah, look, the reality of it is, when it comes to podcasts now, the worry you're going to have, Ryan, is one, is flooded, obviously. It's flooded. The second thing is most are left or right. And the third is going to be AI. AI is going to flood the zone coming up here like there's no tomorrow. They're already doing AI podcasts, AI influencers. That's already happening. Yes, AI is already happening. So this is not flooding the zone. One of the reasons why I do my show live is at the moment, AI can't do it. I hope it can never do it. Well, it might one day, but AI won't be able to do it for the near future, right? So that's one reason why I do it live. Live makes me special. Live makes me different, right? People can respond to me. That's why I go out and meet people, because here's one thing we know. No matter what happens with AI, whether AI, does music or does movies or does art, whatever it does, people will always pay to see somebody live. We saw it when the music industry was torn up. What happened? Went to festivals and stuff. We see it when it comes to, AI will change art. What happens? You go to actual art festivals. Broadway's still rocking and rolling. People will want to watch people live, meet people live. They will still want that. No matter what, we want that, right? So why do you think I'm doing things where I go out and you can come meet me? Yes. So you can see me live. Many of you have actually met me, right? You've actually met me. Many of you have actually met me. You reach out to me on email. I often respond directly to you. Yes. Some of you have chatted here like this. Yes. That's the reason why. So yeah, I think keep that in mind. I'm not saying you should do it live, but I'm saying hit a niche that an AI chatbot wouldn't do. And that's most important. I like the idea of middle America. I love the idea, but you don't have to call it. You don't have to call it the Middle America Show if you don't want to. You just make it that way. I mean, the name of my show is the Sharpe Way. It doesn't say what I do. It doesn't have to. Up to you. So you decide on that one. So branding is going to be important in that one, but of course, niching is more important. Next thing I want to bring up, I'm sorry, Brian, but I'm here. Any of you who want to start some new endeavor, whatever that endeavor is, remember, the broader it is, the more chance it will fail. Let me repeat that. The broader it is, the more chance it will fail. But Larry, my thing can affect everybody. Yes, but the broader you do it, the more expensive it becomes to market, the more broader you have to do. No, niche. As niche as you can be. You want to be a micro niche influencer to the best of your ability. And that will eventually come out of it. You'll see more come out of it. People will come to you if you're talented or funny or good in your niche. Ryan, for you to do well in this arena, you don't need 10 million followers. Not required. 100,000. Get 100,000 people who follow you, 10,000 who really love you, and 1,000 who want to give you $49 per month. Life is good. what you need. Life is good. You'll be fine. Do that. I don't have 1,000 people give me $49 per month yet. Start, you guys. Almost. Almost. But you do that, you're fine. You'll make a living. You'll be fine. You can grow from there. You're big enough to get sponsors, right? All those things. So yeah, that's what you need to worry about. The broader it is, the more chance it'll fail. I know that sounds the opposite. No, I'm right. So, all righty. Jason says, so you want to pay the doctor monthly to keep you healthy and not have to see him or her? Yes, that's called concierge service. Yes, some companies already do that. That's exactly right. So you pay, for example, $150 a month as an example, and you can go whenever you want. I'm not making this up. I've covered this. If you go to my healthcare piece, I did a solutions piece on that too, for Sharpe Solutions on healthcare. So go there if you want to watch that episode. I did a whole thing on this. How it works is you pay a flat fee. Sake of argument, $150 per month. You pay that fee. You can come to my office whenever you want. Cost you $5. That's it, $5. $5 to show up to my office. Doesn't matter whether you get a prescription, whatever, it's $5. Now, what's my goal? My goal, Jason, is for you to always be as successful as possible and as happy as possible, because then I get my $150 for nothing. That's my goal. But you get in trouble and show up, I'm going to help you out. If I want to, I can do a house visit if I want to. Who cares? I want to make sure you're healthy. I can call you up and say, hey, are you eating right? What's going on? Doesn't matter. I'm getting my $150. That's how it works. Yes, that's the goal. The goal is to do that, right? That is a great way of making things work. I hope it will. So, all righty. Where am I here? I covered that piece already. Awesome. Grab some more of these. Kate says, Larry, it's to keep parents from squishing their babies because they don't have cribs. Oh, is that a thing? Then that's great. I'm sorry. I did not understand that. That's awesome. If that works, did it work? I hope it worked, because I would like them to not squish babies. And I didn't know it was a thing. I'm not being flippant, Kate. I didn't know that was a thing. If that's a thing, yeah, we should not do that. That would be terrible. I hope it worked. So, yes. Fish-eaten weasel, a reproductive female, generally in ecology, is more valuable to the species than a dependent offspring. A reproductive female, generally in ecology, is more valuable to the species than a dependent offspring. Are you saying that a woman is more important than a baby? Is that what you're saying? I guess that makes sense, because a woman could have more babies, I guess. But then if the baby's a girl, it could also have more babies. I'm not sure where you're going with that one, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure where you're going with that one. I'm gonna need some help on that one. I'm not sure where you're going with that one. So, all righty. Let's see. I did miss one. Phil, thank you for $2. She was Catholic. They stole her wedding band. There we go. Yes. Okay. Yes. So, yeah, practicing Catholics, those who are practicing, hardcore practicing Catholics, often do not believe in birth control at all. And that means you start making things happen. Yep. Absolutely. All righty. Oh, Kate goes on. Okay, you like this idea a lot, Kate. Okay. Larry, the point was just to make people to be proud to get the baby box and show it off and talk about their kid. It's kind of a point of unity that you got your this year's baby box. Look into it. But it goes back to culture then, right? They're doing it because there's a cultural response to it, which is not a bad thing. I'm not against it, right? But again, I don't think they're doing it because the box, in this case, I think we're seeing this, they're doing it because society or culture says this is a cool thing, right? So, you got the cool thing? Let's talk about it. You had the baby? That's a cool thing. Let's talk about it. I think this goes back to culture. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Phil says, connected. Yes, your neck of the woods, my friend. I will be there. Yes, your neck of the woods. I will be there. Absolutely. So hopefully we'll see it there. All righty. Gene says, Bruce Scott, Larry, you are certainly a busy man. Keep up the good work. I am busy. That's true. Yeah, we'll see. Mother says, my mother had 4 C-sections. 61, 62, 65, 67. Wow. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. Wow. Okay, there we go. Andrea says, formula are filled with seed oils and are not healthy for growing babies. Some people think that that's one of the reasons for kids getting so many allergies. I don't know if that's true, but I know some people do think that. Yes. Some people think that. Yeah. Phil says, no, I was born a C-section, so I was never born. Well, the concept being that you were removed versus born. That's the concept I think he's saying. So, yeah, I don't care. Yeah, whatever. It's, maybe. Who knows? Maybe. All righty. Mike says, all medications made by man has some degree of side effects. True. But we are trained to not ask about that nor consider. That's why so many have 5+ medications a day, one for the cause, for the effects. This piece that Mike brings up is a big deal that we have accepted as true. And this is one of the things that bothers me, is that when a drug has a side effect, instead of a doctor saying, maybe we should stop the drug or change the drug or change your diet or change your exercise or change your sleep schedule, no, give you another drug. Mike is correct, and it drives me crazy. If a drug is not affecting you the way it's supposed to, the doctor should, to Kintsugi's point, be saying, okay, whoa, it's not affecting you the way we want it to. Okay, is there some other issue involved in your life that may be affecting how this is affecting you? There's been many doctors who've talked about this. And of course, I bring up the magic, which is keto, which we know keto is magic. When people go on a ketogenic diet, it very often affects their brain chemistry and therefore often affects how their drugs are affecting them. Doctors don't even ask. Doctors don't even ask. They just go, oh, I guess you must need another piece of medicine. Yeah, absolutely true. So, all right. Wow, a lot of C-sections. Gene says, all 3 of my sons were C-sections. After 76.5 hours of labor with my first son. Gene, how are you? Gene, the stories you tell, how are you alive? Like, you tell some stories. His heart stopped, so he did a C-section. I only labored for 48 hours with my second son. Only, she says. She says only. She says only. Only labored for 48 hours with my second son before they did a C-section. They told me they no longer let a woman labor more than 48 hours. True, because too many babies were dying from the stress of prolonged labor. My third son was a scheduled C-section. Yeah. Someone told me, and I don't know if this is true at all, Gene. Someone told me this. A woman told me, she goes, one of the reasons for so many C-sections is because of the drugs they use for the woman, that the pain medications actually numb things in some way. This is, I don't know if it's true. Someone told me, but they were writing a lot of stuff, so I'm kind of thinking maybe it's true. But anyway, she said that these types of drugs actually make it to where women don't have normal labor and they have to have C-sections. I don't know if that's true. She said that, but yeah. So I don't know. Any case, there we go. All righty. We'll keep going down here if we can. Mezzo Megan says, I had 2 natural births and 1 C-section. I choose national C-section any day. Yeah, a lot of women have C-sections. A lot of women are. Yeah, a lot of women are. So, Masterman Hour says, my wife wants me to get a physical, but I firmly believe that ignorance is bliss. Well, that is an answer. That is an answer. Yeah, but, you know, I would go with the physical. Just my issue. I would go with one. So, yes. JGA says, 3D printing promo. Yes. It's kind of cool, right? There we go. Lunatic says, my wife had 0 intervention with our first 2. Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people have it that way. People moving towards that, by the way. People are moving towards more natural births. You're seeing it everywhere. So Ryan says, Murphy's Midwest mindset. That's not bad. That's not bad. I like it. Could just be Murphy's mindset. You don't have to put Midwest in it if you don't want to. Could just say Murphy's mindset. That could be cool. Yes. So, all right. Grab some more of these. Gene says, my mom died of a heart attack. Women weren't supposed to have heart attacks. Symptoms for women are different from the symptoms men typically have. True. And it's another issue, right? If a woman says the symptoms, if they aren't the male symptoms, they go, oh, it's not real. And then she dies. That actually does happen. You're not wrong, Gene. That actually does happen. Yes. All righty. Mastermind says bovine growth hormones. You will hear me say often, I spend my money on food. I do. I don't have a fancy watch, fancy car, fancy clothes. You don't see any of that stuff. What do you see me do? I put my money into my food. I go out of my way to get food that has no hormones added at all. I go out of my way. Obviously, I can't do it 100%. It's virtually impossible. I try to have my food with at least plastic as possible. I don't cook with Teflon. I am all the things. I try my best. It is impossible to not have plastic in today's world. I don't know. But can you limit it? Yes, I'd limit. Like all the stuff I drink out of is either glass or ceramic. All the stuff I cook out of is ceramic. My water jugs I use are not plastic. They are glass. They're all glass. So yeah, I use glass and ceramic for everything I possibly can. All my meat, to the best of my ability, is I order half of my meat, and it's expensive, but I have a choice. I can buy a fancy car, or I can buy fancy clothes, or I can buy a fancy watch, or I can spend money on food, and I choose to spend money on food. That's what I do. So maybe I'm wasting my money. Maybe I'm not, but I like it. So, yep. All righty. Mike, okay. Also, SCOTUS stopped Dem lawfare, not touching birthright executive order, and dissent went ballistic. Justice Jackson is a real embarrassment, verifies the hire. I got to tell you, Mike, Justice Jackson is really embarrassing in many ways. Like, she embarrasses herself in many ways. She embarrasses us too. You know what I'm talking about. She embarrasses us too. It's bad. I mean, you and I discussed this before, and I'm going to say it. A lot of people just go, the Dems are bad or whatever. This is a Biden issue. You don't have the same problems with Obama or Clinton. They're Dems. They're nowhere near as bad. Obama's legacy won't be as bad as Biden's. Clinton's legacy won't be as bad as Biden's. Biden's legacy is garbage. It's just garbage. And the worst part, if you're a fan of Biden, if you like Biden yourself, you like Democrats, or you're a Democrat, or you lean Democratic, lean left. Biden had an opportunity to have an amazing legacy. He did. All he had to do was, after he'd run in his third year in, say, hey, I'm not going to run again. Let's have a real primary, and let's let the Democratic Party find the right answers for the future. No matter what else he would have done, Jackson, anything else, he would have been seen as a Democratic hero because he slayed the evil dragon known as Trump. And that's all they cared about. And he did his job. The rest, they didn't care. They wanted him to slay the evil dragon. He did. And then he walked away, and he did statues to him. He'd be an elder statesman. They would have whitewashed his legacy to be one of the greatest Democrats ever. I'm not joking. You know, they would have done that. They'd have made him a great Democrat. That's what he would have ended being, the great elder statesman of blah, whatever. They would have made up a story and whatever. Tried to get him put on Mount Rushmore or something, whatever. They did all kind of stuff, right? They'd have done all that stuff. They would have done it. But he had to do what he did. And now they look at him as a horrible failure. His fault. That's his fault. Now, might it have been someone else around him? Maybe. But again, no matter what, he's responsible. His fault. Terrible. So anyway, that's terrible. Robert thinks the opposite. Robert says, Jackson's opinion absolutely proves about her worth in court. No. Her decision was terrible. It was unprofessional. It was just terrible. Sotomayor at least said stuff that made sense. Sotomayor was saying what made sense, at least, right? That was an argument you could see and understand. Jackson's was a joke. It was bad. Just because she fights against someone that you want her to fight against doesn't mean it makes sense, right? You want to fight in a way that keeps it together. Jackson's done something that you may not see, Robert. That's been very bad. Jackson has made it to where she won't have any influence on other judges. Sotomayor does. Sotomayor can have a conversation with other judges and move them. She can do that. right? Other judges they talk back and forth. They can move each other. Jackson is now some crazy woman that no one's going to pay attention to. I don't mean to be cruel. I'm being forward. She has made it to a point where people are like, oh, whatever. That's her. Whatever. She's gonna be, and she's basically going to be a non-starter. She's wrecked herself because she wanted to be self-righteous. And it was a terrible idea. She screwed herself over badly. That was not the right answer for her. It was not good. Yes. Ryan says Bill Clinton's legacy is badass for the most part. Yes, I agree. Most Democrats, and again, what matters in this case is Democrats. Republicans would disagree. Libertarians would disagree on many parts of what he did. But Democrats do look at his legacy as pretty good. I agree. Most of them do. If you look at Democrats, how they see Bill Clinton, they see his legacy as pretty good. Obama, they still love Obama. Democrats love Obama. They also love Michelle Obama, right? So I think, again, what matters is Democrats will vote for them. Democratic legacy, I think you're correct. They still like Bill Clinton. They still like Obama. They don't have the same cultural relevance as they did at one point. They don't have the same influence as they did at one point. However, I think generally speaking, Democrats still like them both and think they have a good, feeling about them. Not the case for Biden. I agree. I think that's an accurate way of looking at it. Yeah, absolutely. So, all righty. Let's see here. All righty. Phil says commercial just when Larry answers my question. Well, yeah. So, all righty. Gene says my middle son's a physician's assistant. I talk to him before I go to the doctor, so I know how to talk to my doctor. That's brilliant, Gene. That's brilliant. That's very smart. Guys, listen to what she's saying. Brilliant. She talks to someone who's in the field, who's a male, who cares about her son, and he can say, Ma, say this, say that, say the other thing, say this to your doctor. Yes, that's brilliant. I love that idea. 100%. Yes. 100%. Yes. Great idea. All righty. Kinsuya says, yeah, we're definitely more agreeable in general. It's true. In general, women are. There are obvious exceptions, and some men are very agreeable. But generally speaking, you will find women will be more agreeable when it comes to authority than it comes to men. Robert. Robert and Michael fighting here. Okay. It's my opinion that Republicans are leading democracy off a cliff. This conversation didn't even touch the topic of brotherly citizenship, which should be adjudicated. I agree with you in the second piece, Robert. I do. And the issue here, the Trump people, I don't even think it's Trump's people. This is, I think, mostly Bannon, to be forward with you. Bannon is savvier than most people give him credit for. I'm not saying I agree with where he wants the country to go. Again, I'm giving credit where credit is due. Bannon's very savvy, Robert, and Bannon saw what was happening with our lower courts. As I've been complaining about judges forever, and when I start complaining judges, what do I always say? They think they're demigods. They just keep, they just do whatever they want. That's been happening. And what's happening at a lower court level has been, all right, I have a problem, right? I think that, whatever, my doctor is bad. So I sue my doctor or whatever. And I go to a federal court because I want an appeal. And the court goes, yep, the doctor is wrong. That doctor should not do X. And then the court says, therefore, no doctor throughout the entire country should do X. Is that real? Is that appropriate? Often it's not. But they do it, and then everyone says, well, that's the rule now. Well, it shouldn't be the rule. What's supposed to happen is that court says it. And then other courts, when I have a problem, look to him or her, that judge, as a precedent to make their judgment off of. Except the exception is the Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court says something, it's the law of the land, right? But when a federal judge, not a Supreme Court judge, says X, it's supposed to affect only those people or that group or whatever. Now, that's good and bad, right? If it is unconstitutional, in theory, everyone should follow that and go, that's the precedent, right? The federal court said unconstitutional, therefore we all agree. But they shouldn't be required to, if you see my nuance there. Because maybe that guy's wrong, or maybe the situation is different, or whatever the case may be. So Bannon seeing, and this has been happening for years. This is not the first time it's happened. It's happening for years. It happened more under Trump because Trump pushed the envelope more. So it happened more in Trump than others. But it wasn't like the courts. Republicans will tell you it's because courts hate Trump. That's Republican spin. That's not true. It happened because Trump pushed the envelope more. That's true. That's why he got more, because he pushed the envelope more. So he got more, halts. He got more, what's the word? Not halts. Anyway, they stopped him more. I forgot what it's called now, the word, but left me. But he had more of those. Injunctions, thank you. Yes, more of those. So he had more of those because he pushed the envelope more, so he got more of them. So Bannon saw that and went, all right, let's move this down to SCOTUS and see how they feel about it. And SCOTUS went, you know what? It's a valid point. And that's how it worked. So just so you understand the logic behind it, right? That's the logic behind it. It is a valid argument. Is Trump leading democracy off a cliff? Maybe. I mean, here's how we'll know. If when Trump is gone and a Democrat comes in and changes everything all over again, then you're right. That's how we'll know. Sadly, that's how I have to know. But I do agree. They should have dealt with the birthright citizenship piece. They should have, but they didn't. They kicked it down they kicked the can down the road. It's going to come back to them again. But yeah, I'm with you on that piece. So, all righty. Grab this if I can. All righty. Sorry. Let me grab this here. Adirondack says, if I voted in an RCV race, I would only cast one vote for the one candidate I want to win. Ranking lower candidates gives them votes. I don't want to give them my vote. Well, that's the issue, right? What's supposed to happen, and did happen in New York City, is that more than one candidate asks for your vote and gives you something to vote for, not against. When we're always voting against, well, then we only want one guy to win because the rest all suck because they're all against. But the concept in theory would be, again, and sometimes it works, the concept would be, oh, okay, I want X and Mike's also running, but Mike is not the same as me, so he thinks differently. But Mike has some things that I agree with, and he'll do those things. So Mike goes to the voter and says, look, vote for Larry. Fine, if you want to, do that. Please vote for me, but if you want to vote for Larry, it's fine. But if Larry doesn't win, vote for me, because these three things that Larry wants, I want too. So if you can't get Larry, you can get me, and you won't get everything that Larry wants, but you'll get these three things. But for the other guy, you get nothing. Me, you get three. That's how it's supposed to work. And then you go, you know what? I like Larry, but if I can't get him, I get three with Mike. I get nothing with the other. All right, I'll vote Mike second. That's how it's supposed to work, right? And I'm supposed to do the same thing in return. Look, you want to vote for Mike, vote for Mike. But I think you vote for me. But if you can't get Mike and I disagree on these things, but we agree on these three things. So if you can't get Mike, vote for me, at least you'll get these three things. You won't get the rest Mike wants, but I'll get you three. And then someone goes, you know what? Fine. I like Mike, but with Larry, I get three. Mike's one, Larry's two. That's how it's supposed to work. And in New York City, it did work that way. So I think that's the best idea, because in that case, Mike and I aren't fighting each other. In this case, we're saying we're different, but we agree on these things. See, anyone who thinks these three things are good, you go for either one of us. But Mike gives X, Larry gives Y, versus now Ryan's coming in and he don't want none of the stuff we want. So Ryan, you don't vote at all. Sorry, Ryan. Ryan gets no vote from you because he won't get any of the things. But you know what? Maybe Kim will do something. Kim will give you one. She'll give one thing that me and Mike both want. She'll give one, Ryan none. So maybe you vote Mike 1, me 2, Kim 3, Ryan 0. And that's what you want to start thinking about ranked choice voting. That's how it's supposed to work. But your point, what you're doing is called bullet voting. That's what it's called, bullet voting. One and you're done. And that a lot of people in Maine are doing that. They were doing it on purpose to stop. They want to break the entire thing. So yeah, anyway, hope that makes sense at least. So hope that makes sense. All right, let me grab some more of these if I can. All righty. James says, speaking of podcasts, I'm launching the first episode of my new podcast next Friday. The name of the podcast is Political Freedom Fighters. It's about third parties and unaffiliated people in North Carolina. Oh, I love that. That's great. Phil says, Naomi Brockwell is on Civil. I'm sorry, but I find her more attractive than Larry. Naomi Brockwell is a smoke show. That woman's beautiful. I've had her on my show. You can see her. I've interviewed her. She is a smoke. And I saw her at Freedom Fest, and I would tell to her face, She is a smoke show. If you're watching Naomi, you are a smoke show. She absolutely is stunning. 100% true. She is stunning. And she's hotter than me. That's true. I mean, I'm pretty hot, Phil. I am. But she is hotter than me. I accept that. She's hotter than me. True. And she is on Civil. Also true. You can watch her. And she's brilliant. She speaks about security. That's one of her biggest things. And she's totally savvy and totally smart and gets it. And the best part about her is not only does she talk the talk, she walks the walk. Like, she does the stuff she says. Like, I talk about security and then do maybe half of it, maybe, probably less than that. But she actually does it. She's one of the best ones, I would say, since probably John McAfee. She's one of the best ones since John McAfee. Yes. Best one since John McAfee. Yes, 100%. Absolutely. All righty. Let's see if I can grab this. Oh, people on already. Send me a reminder. I'll check it out. Kintsugi's on board too. I'm in North Carolina. There we go. Third parties. Look, James, you got people on you already, brother. I like it. Keep going. Keep going. Absolutely. I like it. All righty. Political freedom fighters. Look it up. Dude, it's working. James, well done. All good. All good. All righty. Let me grab a couple more of this if I can. I'm glad you guys are going back and forth for sure. I think that's great. Lunatic says, interventions cause distressed labor. You know, it's funny. It's as if you were there. It's literally what they were saying. They were talking about interventions and how the more interventions we've had, the more distressed labor we've had. Now, is that correlation or causation? I don't know. In other words, is it because of the interventions, or are we having interventions and also having other things that also affected it, right? Is diet, exercise, environment, are those things also doing it? I don't know. Kintsugi says, a lot of medications aren't even necessary and can be fixed with lifestyle changes sometimes. Yes. Like there's research that exercise is more effective than antidepressants, yet they get pushed. There is no doubt, Kintsugi, you're correct, no doubt that exercise helps depression. No doubt. That is solid, clear evidence is screaming. You are correct. Now, does it mean people don't need antidepressants? No, some people I'm sure do. Some people have issues where they need it. But to your point, why aren't we looking at that first? And again, if you have a doctor that gets more than 7 minutes with you and doesn't get paid per prescription, that doctor might say, hey, Kintsugi, why don't you try some exercise routine first? Maybe make some diet change, see what happens. Come back to me in a month and see if it changes. And if that changes, why would I put you on a pill? Right? Let's keep the changes going. Or maybe I'll lower your dose because this is helping or whatever, right? There's different ways of doing it. But when your doctor talks to you for 7 minutes because they've got to get 15 people in because they got to get paid, they're not doing that. They're not doing that. Why would they? Right? Absolutely. Jason says, so why wouldn't hospital run insurance work? I'm not sure what that means. Why wouldn't hospital run insurance work? I mean, base, that's what it is, isn't it? If you're paying $150 or whatever the number, I made the number up, right? That was the thing they were doing. $150 per month to the hospital group. That's basically insurance. That's basically what it is. Right? It's basically that. You're getting your services. You don't require insurance. There's no need for insurance because you're not paying for the procedure. You get the procedure. You're not paying for it. You're paying $150 a month. That's what you're paying for. So if the hospital group has the things you need, and the more it makes, the more people it has, the more it will buy, right? So in my example I've given in the past, I guess you haven't seen this one, Jason. All right, I'm a doctor. I decide that I'm going to open up my own practice. I'm a single practitioner. I charge $150 to come in, and whatever I can do, I help you out. I start getting a lot of people coming in. I get 200 patients paying me $150 a month. I got 1,000 people paying me. I have tons of money, right? I start making tons of money. I hire another doctor. I hire Kintsugi. She is a OBGYN. So now if your girlfriend, wife is pregnant, they can come in. She can see them. Same thing. You pay $150. The money didn't go up. You pay $150 per person, as you always do. You show up, $5. So every time she does a visit, your wife comes in, $5. That's it. Because we're getting paid. We're getting paid every month. Kintsugi gets a salary. I have a salary. We're getting paid every month because we have monthly subscriptions, right? So we keep getting paid. So you come in whenever you want. So now we start doing so well. So I hire Robert. Robert comes in. He's a radiologist or whatever, right? And so we have enough money, so we buy an MRI machine, and he runs that. So you come and get MRI. What do you pay? $5. It doesn't matter. You don't pay extra. It's $5. That's what you pay. Why? Because you're paying you $150 every month. Robert's getting a salary. Kentucky's getting a salary. I'm getting a salary. We're good. So you come on in. Whatever, you're done. Well, then we decide to hire Jean. Jean's a surgeon. So now you can surgeries here. She's especially an XYZ surgeon. She does gastrointestinal surgeries. She's a specialist. Great. So you get a surgery. How much does it cost? $5. She's on a salary. There's no need for insurance. She has a salary. I have a salary. Kentucky has a salary. Robert has a salary. So we bring an anesthesiologist in. So how much does anesthesiology cost? $5. It doesn't matter. Whenever you come, it's $5. That's how the system works. There's no need for insurance. Why? The anesthesiologist is on a salary. So is Robert. So am I. We're on salaries. Why? Because we have enough money coming every month through our subscriptions that we just keep buying things and get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's how it actually works. You see it in gyms. Same model works. So you pay $150 per month and $5 when you come in. And the larger the hospital group gets, the more stuff you get for the same $5. It doesn't matter. So you have to have an OBGYN visit, an MRI, and then surgery. 3 visits, $15. That's what it cost. $15. If you have an address, you can afford $15. Some people don't have an address, they go to emergency room. But if you have an address, you can afford $15. Some people can't. Stop lying. If you have an address, you can afford $15 for surgery, an MRI, and a visit. It's fine. You'll be fine. So yes, that's how it works. There's no need for insurance. That's it. So Kentucky says, gotta love your microplastics. I do not. But yes, I get it. I do not. So Ganjin says, was Biden even awake besides the inauguration? I do bring this up. Is it possible that he didn't directly do the things? Yes, that's possible, but it doesn't matter. He's responsible. That's my point, Ganjin. I don't know. It's possible he didn't do the thing, right? Maybe it was the auto pen. I don't know. We'll find that out probably later on and see if that's true. I don't know, but it doesn't matter is my point. Biden's responsible whether or not he did it or not, and he should have walked away. Walt says Biden's legacy is 50 years of corruption. That is it. True, and it didn't have to be that. That's my point, Walt. You're correct. It did not have to be that. If he had just slain the dragon that they wanted him to slay and walked away, they would have whitewashed all of that. They would have whitewashed all of that. He had a way out of that, Walt. He had a way out. He didn't take it. His own hubris or his own greed or the people around him, whoever it was, they made sure that did not happen because he had a way out. He didn't take it. They would have whitewashed that in 5 seconds. Every Democrat would have forgotten about that. Everyone would have forgotten about that. I'm sorry, every Democrat would have. And that's what matters. They don't care about what Republicans think. They don't care. Republicans don't like Democrats. They don't care what you think. If you're a Republican, they don't care. They care about what Democrats think. And that would have changed that. Absolutely. So, Mastermind says, I couldn't chat with you guys for 50 minutes because I was cleaning my cast iron pans. I have 2 of those also, my friend. But you don't actually clean those. See, now I know you're lying. You don't actually clean those. It's a certain way you deal with cast iron pans. Oh, I know, because I have them. I am with you. So, yes. All righty. Let me go walk down here if I can. Patty says, check out Bill on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart last week. He's old and rambles, but makes sense. Oh, Bill Clinton. Yeah. No, you're right. People still like him. They still like him. They still like Bill Clinton. That's true. People still like Bill Clinton. Absolutely true. Yes. Let me see if I can grab here. A lot of these. Okay. Trigger warning. Thoughts on the ad campaign that came out for Thomas Massie on the anniversary of Massie's wife's passing. The commercials are rather disgusting. Time to open the wallet again. Yeah, look. I'm going to tell you what it actually is, little lady, and some of you may not like this. This is a money grab. That's all it is. People convinced Trump that they can get rid of Massey. I don't think they can. So a bunch of people said, we'll open a PAC and we'll do these things that will make Trump and people who like Trump feel good, which is what this does. This makes Trump and people who like Trump feel good. They're getting paid. Say it's $1 million, whatever, $2 million, whatever it is. Again, half of that goes to their consultants and friends and themselves. They'll get paid. They get paid for a year because the election's not till next year. They get paid for over a year and a half. They get 18 months getting paid and nothing will happen. And they all took 18 months to get paid. This is a money grab. That's all it is. And it's embarrassing, but it's politics. Politics is nasty and horrible and personal and petty and all those things. Why do you think people leave it, Liberty Lady? Why do you think only idiots like me stay? Only insane people like me stay. Everyone else leaves. Yes. So I'm over at Instagram. Rob Latimer says, Larry, keep your foot to the mat on bringing to light topics and ideas that will cause those of us who have fled the state to reconsider. Thank you, my friend. I keep trying. My goal, as I said, if I run for governor again, how I will decide if I have won is if after 4 years I've stopped the bleeding. The idea of me getting people to come back in 4 years, that's a tough one. I hope I can do it, but that's probably asking too much. Just people aren't leaving anymore. I'll take that. Like, that's a win for me. Just people aren't leaving. I would take that. Yes. All righty. Let me go here. If I'm going to over to Rumble. Sharpe fan says, President Trump is partially right on birthright citizenship. It was for the children of slaves, but also for the children of legal immigrants who have not had their citizen hearing yet. Yeah. Look, there is some truth to what he's saying, right? There is some truth to what he's saying. And they should deal with the issue and and talk this thing out. Birthright citizenship, for those who don't know, is relatively new, believe it or not. Relatively new. What I mean by that is, in the past, you weren't a citizen because you were born in an area. That wasn't a thing. That changed with the New World. That changed with America, believe it or not. If you go back about 30 years, 40 years, give or take, only the New World had birthright citizenship. Meaning Africa didn't have it, Europe didn't have it, Asia didn't have it. Only like the Americas had it. Why? Because the immigrants all came over. It's a continent of immigrants because we pushed all the Native Americans out. So you became a citizen because you were born here. Because there was no was there a legacy of being Brazilian? I mean, there wasn't at the time. Was there a legacy of being American? There wasn't at the time, right? That wasn't a thing. That's why it happened only in the New World. You go back 40 years ago, literally like Germany, France, didn't have birthright citizenship. Now some of them do. They're now picking up birthright citizenship because of the immigration issues, and they're fighting with their immigrants. There were issues in Germany. Germany, for those who don't know, had a massive Turkish population, still does, but had a massive Turkish influx during and after World War I. The Ottoman Empire and the Germans were allies, so many Turks came to Germany. So many Germans had died in World War I. They required labor. So many Turks came in to be laborers in Germany. Happened after World War II also. There's a relationship with Turks and Germans, right? So many Turks are in Germany. Well, you have many Turks now who literally been born in Germany, 2 generations in Germany, don't speak Turkish, only speak German, went to German schools, and they're still Turkish citizens. Now, that's been changing recently in Germany. Japan, same thing. Japan brought Koreans over. Japan colonized Korea in 1910. That's right. Japan colonized Korea in 1910 and was literally importing their women and their men, but their women for reasons, yes, those reasons, correct, and bringing them over to Japan, and they were living in Japan. And they were having children, fight, whatever. And now you've got 2-3 generations of Koreans, 4 generations of Koreans living in Japan, raised in Japan, only speak Japanese. They're Korean citizens. I know. I actually dated one when I was in Japan. So I remember. I was like, oh, she's like, no, I'm Korean. I'm like, you don't speak Korean. She's like, no, I don't speak Korean. She was Korean. So yes, so birthright citizenship is new. I'm not saying I agree with what he's saying, but there is some logic to it. The goal behind it was to ensure that freedmen and their kin were considered equal citizens. That was the goal of that. That's true. And they've used it for other issues. So valid point. It's an argument. I get it. Ryan says that Murphy show, that could work. That could work. Sure. Absolutely. All righty. Let me grab a couple of these if I can. So many. I appreciate this. All righty. Massman says, I was a natural birth at 9 pounds, 12 ounces. And my dad never forgave me. I believe it. Yes. Patty says, food as your first medicine is a big thing now. It's true. You are what you eat. Farm to table, because it is being pushed here in this area. It's bigger everywhere. These ideas are bigger everywhere. You are correct, Patty. They are everywhere. People are thinking this way all day, all night. You are right. Yes, 100%. Ganj, if you remember, my friend, I left New York City in 2012. However, the U.S. isn't really interesting to me in terms of scenery, in my honest opinion. Everything's the same. Maybe some of the cities, that's true, but America is very amazing if you leave the cities. The sad part of what you're saying is there are actually a lot of people now who are actually packing up and going back to their former home countries, which is not good. For example, you have people who, like, say, for example, come from, say, India, or say come from, Thailand or something, wherever they come from. Their family comes from Vietnam or something. And they're like, you know what? I'm going back to Vietnam. I'm going back to Turkey. I'm going back to Pakistan. And they were born here. Like, they're born here. And like, I'm going to go back there. That's not good. Like, I don't want that to be the case, right? I want them to stay. But I feel like some people don't leave. It's becoming a cool thing to go back to your home country. It's becoming a cool thing. I hope that doesn't really, I'll listen flip. So yes. All righty. Let's see if I can grab this through if I can. Adirondack says birthright citizenship has been horribly abused. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that, but it doesn't mean it's wrong, right? Something can be abused and still be right. Maybe you just change some of the rules. So yeah. Ganyan says, my mom is thinking about going back to Jamaica. Yes. She thinks the political environment is too stressful here for her age at 60. Yeah. Yes. That is a big issue. You are correct. People are thinking that way. Lots of people are thinking about that. And I don't want that. That bothers me. That's a canary in a coal mine, right? That's a canary in a coal mine. I don't want that to be true. I would like people to say, I'm here. I love it. I want to stay. I want my family to be here. I want my kids to grow up here. I want people to say that. And when they're not, that's a problem. Right? Cage says, home from biking, turns 69 tomorrow. Oh, congratulations. Cage, congratulations. No meds. Amazing. Clean food. Spend a lot of time on my health. Doing better than most at my age. You know what? The fact that you care about your health, that you're paying attention, that you go out biking, that you are no meds, shows you do care. Good for you. Good for you. Odds are you live a nice long life. I do like that. Yes. So, Mother says, oh, yes, you do clean cast iron. Yes, but in a specific way is all I was saying. That's all I was saying. In a specific way is all I was saying. That's it. Specific way. I was seeing if anyone would tell me what the specific way is. That was the issue. So, yeah. Adirondack says, I haven't heard anyone claim Biden is Sharpe as attack in quite a while. Yes, he has lost it. He has lost it. Oh, Mastermind said it right. I said clean, not wash. That's what I was talking about, Mastermind. Okay, he got it. He's telling the truth. It's true. There's a specific way. That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying. Yes, this is a different way. There we go. All righty. So, yeah. Literally, I'm glad you're not triggered, that I answered your question. I'm glad you're not. It's all good. It's all good. Yes. Doc Andrew says, I will die on the grounds my kin are buried. It is the Orthodox way. Rip Zivko, memory eternal. Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Yes. Phil says, Cage will live forever. Yeah, she might. Mike says, many people going back home to the nations return quickly as they find the U.S. is better quality of life. What they thought was racism isn't. Happens all the time. Lack of perspective makes woke out analogy good. It depends on how to go back, Mike. So here's the issue. What I've seen in the specific case of South Asia, in this case, specifically South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, that area, is people often go back after they've made a lot of money here. And the cost of living is so low in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan compared to here. If they're okay with the culture, it depends on if they're like third generation, the odds of them actually enjoying the culture again is going to be tough because they're second, third, fourth generation here. If they're just first generation, they may have been raised up in a Pakistani home, in a Bangladeshi home, an Indian home, and they can go back and their quality of life becomes better because the cost of living is so low. So they're making American salaries still, either through remote work or through investments or things like that, or through businesses or entrepreneurship. And that cash is coming back to them in India, to where here they're living a middle-class life, maybe. They go to India, they've got servants, they've got 2 homes. So it depends on how they're going back. Sometimes the self-selection piece makes it different. If that makes any sense. It depends upon what they're doing, right? That's the issue. So yeah. Kintsugi says, Mike, I've heard that from Black people moving to Africa, the grass wasn't greener, I guess. Yeah, that's true. There is again, certain exceptions, but not many of them. I think you're right. Most of the time, the generally speaking, Africans are immigrating to America, not the reverse. You see sometimes here or there, but it's not very common at all. I agree. They go back and go, this isn't what I wanted. But here's what you are finding. Some of this, Kintsugi, you are finding some Black men, some white men too, but heavily Black men, are going to Africa, to where they came from, to find a wife. That's happening too. The passport bros, as they call themselves. Some are going there to find a wife, and then some are staying, and some are coming back. But yeah, I think some of them are doing that too. You are seeing a little bit of that too. So yeah, it depends. So anyway, I want to look over here, and I see over on Rumble, Phil, thank you for $1. I was at the doctor's the other day, and as I ran my tests, I got the results to my app before the doctor came back in the room. And I Googled all the test results. I asked better questions. Now that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I love that, Phil. That's very smart. You're able to look and see what was going on. And yeah, I love that. Yeah. Sharpe says, I know a woman that recently retired and moved back to Mongolia, partially because of cost of living and partially to help her mom out. I've seen that too. Central Asia too. Thank you. I do see that. I've seen people move back to say, like, I remember a woman who actually came from Kyrgyzstan, believe it or not, and she went back there because she had graduated from a nice college here. She had made a bunch of cash and then went back to Kyrgyzstan. And Kyrgyzstan, cost of living is nothing compared to New York. Nothing. So she makes tons of money there. And the same issue. Family. Family was in trouble. She went back and she can, get them the best healthcare there, the best doctors in those areas. They have different healthcare. You just pay flat. So they pay the fees, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, it does happen, right? It does happen. Yeah. So I do think you do that sometimes. That's great. Guys, I want to ask you, if I could, as always, please click the button known as like. I brought that up because it does matter. I always do. If you remember, I told you next week, Thursday, I'll be doing an event in Syracuse, New York at 7 p.m. Next Friday, 11 a.m. in Schenectady and 4 p.m. in Putnam. So if you are in those areas in upstate New York, please come see me if you can. I'll be giving details out coming up here, but clear your schedule if you can make it. 7 p.m. Thursday in Syracuse, 11 a.m. Friday in Schenectady, and 4 p.m. Friday in Putnam County. So if you can, please do so. Remember, Monday, my radio show has moved from Tuesday. It has moved to Monday. So now it is on Monday at 1 p.m., no longer Tuesday. So tune in on Monday if you want to call up. The same WYSL. Happy to see you there if you want to. And the members panel show is July 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want to get on that show, become a member. If you are a member, look at the membership tab on YouTube. It's posted there. Tell me you want to be on. I'm going to try to grab new people first. If I don't have new people, I will bring people who've been on before. You just come on. Anyone can watch. Anyone can watch. Doesn't matter. Anyone can watch. Doesn't matter. But you can be on the show with me. 3 people, me and 3 people together talking about it. And not, people say, what's the subject? We'll make it up when the time comes. We just want to have a good chat. Enjoy each other's time. You can become a member if you haven't already by clicking the membership join button on YouTube. $49 per month is a way to get yourself in there, and you get to be a member. You'll see to send things to me that I can review, and you can be in a membership panel show. It does matter if you can do so. Please help out if you can. And remember, see Civil? That piece you see Civil up there? Yeah, new sponsor. Wednesday's show is on Civil only. Wednesday show only. This show coming up here next Wednesday, 7 p.m. will be on Civil only. You want to join Civil? You can. CIVL.com. promo code Larry, Larry, all in caps. Yes, indeed. Head over to civil.com. Code is Larry. $25 for the entire year, a whole year. And you get Naomi Brockwell and others on Civil also, not just me. Please do it. If you have the time and the energy, please do so. It does matter 100%. If you can do that, that would be awesome. So please don't forget that piece. In addition, you know the new algo loves if after the show you comment. So please comment after the show. And I'm going to ask you, what do you think about women and medicine and the healthcare system in general? Is it good for them, bad for them? Does it matter? Think about your doctor, women in healthcare in general. Please comment what you think. I will respond to the best of my ability. And remember, if it is not live, when this is over, you're going to see 2 videos pop up. Please click on one of them and watch for about 8 or 10 minutes. The algo loves that too. I will see you all very soon.